Hi viewers, this is Dr. Jana and you are watching video with me on linear regression. In our previous video, we have discussed about the simple linear regression where we are going to predict the dependent variable with respect to single independent variable, right? So if you remember, we have discussed about the cells with respect to TB. Okay, so these were the things which comes under the simple linear regressions. So we have two type of linear regression. One is the simple linear regression, another is the multiple linear regression. Now we have already implemented the simple linear regression model in our last video. So in this video we are going to discuss about this multiple linear regression model, right? So again I am summarizing simple linear model. So we are going to estimate one dependent variable with respect to one independent variable. This is the case of simple linear model. It's clear? But while we are going for multiple linear model, we are going to estimate one dependent variable with respect to more than one independent variable. So this is the case of multiple linear regression model. Say some example we can take it. Suppose we use some data set, salary data set from Kaggle. And the data set has two columns, that is the year of experience and also salary. Here we can understand salary is the dependent variable. Salary is depending on this number of year of experience. The more the experience the person is having, maybe more the salary will be getting. It's clear? Suppose we have two more columns like the project the person is handling and also the people he is managing, like that. So in that case, this salary will be decided not by only experience, it will be decided by all these three. What are the three? Number of year of experiences, the project he handled and also the people he is managing as a manager or whatever things like that. Then we use this starts model to use all the three variables to predict the salary. Okay, this cannot be done in the linear simple linear regression model. So we need a special model, we call it the starts model. And the starts model is used for this type of things. Okay, and we are using the model here, we call the ordinary least square or OLS, ordinary least square. And the model tries to find out a linear expression for the data set which minimizes the sum of the residual squares. Okay, so suppose in this data set what I am talking about here, we have say 30 observation, 30 number of rows and 4 features, 4 number of columns are there. I told you that 2 are there and 2 you added, so it is 4 number of columns. Okay, features here the column. Out of 4 features, 3 features are independent. Okay, out of these 3, because we want salary which is the dependent, remaining 3 are the independent features, right? And this data frame model is therefore data frame model is therefore 3, and data frame residual is calculated from total observation minus DF model minus 1. Here, so number of observation, number of rows is 30 and the DF model is 3, I told you, and minus 1. So it is 26. You got it now? So, you got it now? So this is the DF residual, right? So then we move to the next slide where you can see some terminology like the covariance and correlations. Covariance shows how two variables move with respect to each other. See, remember this covariance is not the correlation. Correlation is different and covariance is also totally different. Here, if this value is greater than 0, what is the value of covariance? Then both move in the same direction. Okay, two variables I am talking about. If the value of covariance is greater than 0, then both move in the same direction, and if this is less than 0, this variable move in opposite directions, right? Then covariance is different from this correlation, and covariance does not provide the strength of the relationship, it only shows the direction of movement, whereas correlation value is normalized and ranges between minus 1 to plus 1, and correlation provides the strength of the relationships. It is clear? So this is the thing, and we will be using and you will be using r squared value, which is the coefficient of determination, which indicates the percentage of the variability if the data explained by the selected independent variables, right? Then we come to the conclusion, this multiple linear regression, it is a regression model that estimates the relationship between the quantitative dependent variable and two or more independent variable. Qualitative it is not possible, it is the quantitative, right? Two or more independent variables using a straight line, right? So this is the things we are using, and in the slide number 4 we will be using some terminology like VIF, or a variance inflation factor. A variance inflation factor, or VIP, is a measure of the amount of multicollinearity in a set of multiple regression variables, right? So this is set of measure VIF. This will be frequently using. That's why I am discussing all the things here. Mathematically, the VIF for a regression model varies. A model variable is equal to the ratio of the overall model variance to the variance of this model that includes only that single independent variable. So this ratio we call as the VIF, right? So suppose VIF is equal to 1, then no correlation between the independent variable and the other variable. If the VIF exceeds 5 or 10, it indicates high multicollinearity between these independent variables and the others. Okay, then it should be less than 5. Okay, 1 to 5, it is 5. So multicollinearity occurs when two or more independent variables are highly correlated with one another in a regression model. So these are the some of the things which we will be using. That's why I am discussing. Immediately we will be going for the implementation. This means that an independent variable can be predicted from another independent variable in a regression model. That is the meaning of the correlation. Means that. For example, height and weight. For example, okay. So from this height we can calculate the weight, right? Household income and water consumptions. So more the water consumptions, like that it is there, and mileage and price of a car, study time and leisure time, etc. All the things we can calculate. Let us take a simple example from our everyday life. Suppose Rajesh loves watching television while eating these chips. Okay. The more television he watches, the more chips he eats, and the happier he gets, right? Now, if you could quantify happiness and measure Rajesh's happiness while he is busy doing his favorite activities, which do you think would have a greater impact on this happiness? Having a chips or watching a television? So it is very difficult to, so that's difficult to determine, because the moment we try to measure Rajesh's happiness from eating chips, he starts watching television. At the moment we try to measure his happiness from watching television, he starts eating the chips. So in this way, you cannot simply ignore others. Now eating chips and watching television are highly correlated in the case of Rajesh, and we cannot individually determine the impact of the individual activities on his happiness. So this is the multicollinearity problem. Then where this occurs, this multicollinearity occurs when two or more independent variables are highly correlated with one another in a regression model. This means that an independent variable can be predicted from another independent variable in a regression model. This is the case of multicollinearity, right? So for example, height and weight, household income, I already told you all the things. So then we move to the next slide. This multicollinearity could exist because of the problem in the data set at the time of creation. Suppose there is some problem in the data set, for that also multicollinearity can happen. Multicollinearity could occur when new variables are created which are dependent on other variables. This is also, there is a possibility. Then including identical variable in the data set, that is also, it leads to multicollinearity. Then inaccurate use of dummy variables can also cause a multicollinearity problem. And insufficient data in some cases can also cause multicollinearity problem. Then how we detect this multicollinearity? Multicollinearity can be detected by various methods. In this article we will be focusing on the most common one, that is the VIP, that is the variable inflation factors. So this VIP determines the strength of the correlations between the independent variables. It is predicted by taking a variable and regressing it against every other variable. So this is the technique by which you can go for that one. Then you see, we are using this R square value. It is determined to find, because VIF and R square they are related, R square value is determined to find out how well an independent variable is described by other independent variables. So that is the things we are using R square value. A high value of R square means that the variable is highly correlated with the other variable. So this is captured by the VIF. The relation is VIF, which is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus R square. That means if R square value is closer to 1, then VIF value will be high, and the higher the multicollinearity with the participant independent variables. So this is the thing we have to think. Then fixing the multicollinearity. How we can fix this multicollinearity? So dropping one of the correlated features will help in bringing down the multicollinearity between the correlations. And if you see, because we are having the predicted variable versus more than one independent variables, so we can see the different models. You can see it here. Okay, this is a small example I have given you. Now let us go for the coding part, where you can go for the implementation of all the things. Right now we move to our coding part. Here you can clearly see I am using the Jupyter notebook, and here we need some Python libraries. So first, import startmodels.api as SM. SM stands for the start models, right? Import startmodels.api as SM. Then import startmodels.formula.api as SMF. That start model formula. Then import pandas as PD. Import numpy as NP, and import cborn as SNS. Then percentage matplotlib inline, right? So these are the things we need to import. This is important because all things will be using here. Fine. Then we have to load the data. Where is the data? Suppose I am going for the housing.csv data frame. The data set we are taking from the Kaggle. Okay, that is the open source, and we are taking it there. So now for that, what do you do? That house is equal to PD. You understand, PD is the pandas. Okay, PD.read underscore CSV. And here I told you that previously we are using 2 number of backward slash, but here I am putting R under double quotation. The entire path you put as it is also text. Okay, so this is another way of providing the path. Now the entire thing, where it is stored? In house. Now house.head 3, that means the first 3 data I can see it here. So this is the price, area, bedrooms, bathrooms, storage, then the main road, facing to the main road, any guest room is there, the basement is there or not, then hot water or heating is there or not, then air conditioning is there or not, parking is there, so preferable area, something like that. All the things are there or not furnished, the furnishing status, everything is provided here. Now if you minutely observe here, you can see the main road. In the main road, it is showing yes, no, like that it is showing. So this is a categorical value. You get it now. So we need to convert to a numerical value. So what you do? We map it. Yes is equal to 1 and no is equal to 0. How do it? House main road, which is equal to house main road dot map on braces starts on curly braces. Yes map to 1 and no map to 0. Get it now? So like that. If you see the guest room, where is the guest room, bedroom, storage, and guest room, it is no, yes, it is showing. Similarly, you can map to yes is equal to 1 and no is equal to 0. Similarly, the basement, here basement also yes, no, same thing, yes is equal to 1 and no is equal to 0. You can map it there. Then air conditioning also you can put yes, no, you can put it like this. Then the house prefer that is also yes, no, we can put it like this. So with this we mapped all this categorical value to the numerical values. Now then house.head, if you see the first 5 rows of data, you see most of the data now it is converted to numerical values. But here the furnishing status, it is still showing furnished, semi-furnished, unfurnished, like that it is there. Okay. Then if you want to check it, what are the different type of there, then house furnishing status dot unique method, if you put it there, it is showing it has furnished, semi-furnished and unfurnished, and data type is equal to object, right? So now we can use this when we have more than 2 categories. When we are having, here we are having 3 categories. So in that what we use, then status is equal to pd.get dummies from this house and furnishing status. Okay, if you use all the things, you get it now. Then what will happen? Then it will try to show you in this value. Okay, so furnishing, semi-furnishing, or furnished, semi-furnished, and unfurnished status it will show on this first 5 data, right? Then because I am putting it blank, it is first 5 data. It will be show the last 5 data, right? So then you can see the furnished is there, semi-furnished there, and unfurnished is there. We can use this when we have more than 2 categories. Then what is the status? PD dot get dummies house unfurnished. So furnishing status drop first is equal to true. What is the drop first is equal to? That means this furnished data we are not taking. So we remove this furnished data. So only you go for semi-furnished and furnished. Okay. Then what will happen? Then if you go status dot head here on the same, then it is coming semi-furnished. Only here it was 1, remaining 0, and unfurnished here all the zeros. Okay. Now house is equal to PD dot concat house comma status axis is equal to 1. That it will just put it in the right hand side of that one. Then if you show house dot head, then you can see it here. It is showing you can check it here. It is showing semi-furnished and unfurnished data. It is showing. You got it now. But this furnishing status we never require that one. So we can drop that one. How drop? Then house dot drop furnishing status axis is equal to 1. In place is equal to true, right? When you do all the things there, then what is the furnishing status? What is the furnishing status? Furnishing status for all this data we can move here. Now house dot head method, you put it here, you can clearly see all these values they are coming in numerical values. We don't have any categorical value here, right? Now up to this we have done the cleaning part and all things. Then we are going to create a new variable. For creating a new variable, house area per bedroom, which is equal to house area by house of area by house of bedroom. Okay, this is the things we can get it there. So this is stored here in the house area per bedroom. Similarly, house bathroom per bedroom, house bathroom per bedroom, for 1 bedroom how many bathrooms are there, like that. So that also we get it there. Then if you go for the house dot head, we can clearly see all the data here, right? So bedrooms, bathrooms, and all things we can check it here. It is there, right? Now if you see house dot shape, we have 545 number of rows of data and 16 number of columns are there. We are having, right? So now it is important to scale all these variables. For that, what we do? We go for the normalizations, def normalize x, return x minus np dot minimum of x by maximum of x minus minimum of x. This is a formula for that one. And house is equal to house dot apply normalizations. We go for the normalizations. I think already discussed about the normalizations. You can apply these normalizations. Then if you go for the house dot head, you can see it here because the value 4, 5, 6, 7, instead of that the normalizations value it is coming clearly, it is here, right? You can see it here. Then x, you can check it here also. Then x head, if you check it here, all these values we can get it here, bedrooms, bathrooms, storage, and all these values you can get it here. Then if you get the shape, x dot shape 545 by 15, okay? So we get it here, that is the BB ratio and area for bathroom, it is there, okay? So previously we are having so it's fine. So now we can get x dot shape, we get it this value, and y is equal to house I location I comma 0. This also you can get the value here, and y dot head also you can get it here, the locations you can get it here, okay? So y is equal to house dot I location. So you get all this value, the price, okay? Then we go for y dot shape, it is also 545. The same thing for number of x and number of y will be there. Then from sklearn.model selections import train test split. The same thing for the training and testing we do it here, and we are taking the training is 70% and testing is the remaining 30% by default. Okay, this is the thing what we are using in our simple linear, the same thing also we are using. Then we are going to build a linear model. So for this multi-pole linear model, what you do, the equation is equal to b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 plus b3 x3, all things which is equal to y, right? Then what are the models we want to import? Start models API as SM, and the start models compute the solutions in y-axis. Then x train, that is equal to SM dot at, all the things are there, we put it there, and that LM linear model LM underscore 1 which is equal to LM OLS. I told you that you are using ordinary least square, train, test and fit, just we fitted all things, right? Then x underscore train dot head, the first two data we can check it here. Then print LM underscore L dot summary. So all this summary you can OLS regression results, it is showing you all these things. Okay, the price and the model OLS and the method we are using least square, the date, all the things, it is whatever things it is showing it here, right? So once you finish all the things, then we need to go for this VIF calculation, because I told the multicollinearity. So from starts model dot starts outliers under influence import variance inflation factor. So outliers I already discussed in our previous video, please go through that one, right? Then VIF which is equal to PD dot data frame, then VIF factor is equal to variance inflation factor x dot value comma I for I in the range of except I. Okay, so these are things and VIF features x dot columns, and we can get the x dot shape is equal to 15 here, and x dot value also, if you want you can check all these values, you can get it here, right? Then we are going for this VIF round. So you round it and you can get the area, bedroom, bathroom, so all the things you can check it here, right? So then we can go for the relation between this VIF which is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus r square, you know all the things, right? Then VIF short values, VIF factor axis equal to 0 and ascending forth. So if you put it here, you can find all this according to the VIF value, VIF factor. So it is putting it here, okay, 0 1 2 3 4 like that, it is putting here. So 0 is 57 is the highest, 1 like that it is putting to all this 10 11, all things we can get it here, right? So then import matplotlib pyplot as PLT, then import Seaborn as SNS. These are all these models, these are all these libraries you have to import, and matplotlib online. Then plot figure size 1610 SN. If you see the heat map here, you can clearly see the heat map here. Got it now? Now then x train is equal to x train dot drop BB ratio. We can drop this bathroom per bed. Okay. Then LM to SM dot OLS y train x train, just to fit this data. So it is here. Then if you go for the sprint LM to summary, the entire summary, now we can check it here. Fine. Then we are going for drop the BB ratio from the from X, and also find the again VIF, we found it there, right? So now if you double click there, okay, now the VIF features you can check it here, and here also VIF dot sort values. If you get the sort values, you will find the entire values here. Okay, now you see the VIF values all it are changed now. You got it now. Now then again you are going for this external drop bedrooms. We drop it here and it is dropped. Then LM3 SM of OLS, here also white train, again you fit it there, and LM3 all things we are trying, and x equal to x dot of bedroom 1. Now using all the things, again I am calculating the VIF again calculated, and if you see it here, the value is 0 1 2 3, it is showing 14, 1, 2, 6, like that. All this vi factor is there, right? Then extend drop area. So what is the area? The highest is 14 point something like that. We drop that one, right? So if after dropping, you can find it here. Okay. So the constants, bathrooms, storage, all things are there. Fine. Then for the linear model 4, SM, OLS, Y, train and extend again we feed. Then print the LM summary. If you see the summary again, we can check it there. Same thing we are repeating, only dropping something and doing it again, right? Again we are going for this VIF calculation and the feature X column. If you check now, all these values are there in this form. Now extend and drop the area here to bedroom. Okay, if you see it here, ISTG. Okay, so then we can do all things here. Okay, then drop semi-furnished all things, because unfurnished, semi-furnished, all things we can semi-furnished. We are trying removing one and trying, and finally we find this one. Then you extend again, drop semi-furnished, we drop here. Then again they try the LM5 and all things we tried here. Then print the things again. You can find it here, the dependent variables, price, enter data, you can find it here. Then PD data frame, again the VI factor will calculate and all things solve that. Then extend shape also, now it is 381 by 11. Okay, previously it was more, now it is because we are reducing. Text L5 in linear model 5, the same thing we are doing it here. And for this one xtext underscore 15 head, you can check for the test data whatever things we are putting, all the things that there, the first 5 data we are putting it here, right? Now print extend shape, extend 15.shape, all the things we can check it here also. So 381 byte and all things, right? So this is because already 70%, 30% is already we are given the train and test, so nothing to worry about that one. So y is equal to y underscore prediction, which is equal to lm underscore 5 dot predict xtext 15. So now with respect to the xtext 15, we can find the predicted value. Then while going for this model evaluation, import matplotlib. Then matplotlib, how to plot all things, you know all the things, and I think you can check it here, and you can see what is the in the red color what is given and green color what is given. Here it is given clearly, you can see it here. Your red color means prediction, okay, green color means it is the test data, right? So you can plot all this data here. Already you have done in the linear regression, you can do it here also, right? Then plotting to understand the distribution, so we can use figure, plot figure and SNS, all the things we do it here. You can check this figure also, so you can see the error list, right? So then we can go for from sklearn import matrices. You are going to find the root mean square error, MAE and mean square error, all things the data we get it here, right? Then another method of slicing the data using this standard scatter. This is I think extend and all things we can do it here, and these things are, I think we are not focusing at this moment. Then print constant of 6f. You see the data here also you can find. So in this way finally we are going for plotting of y test and y predicted, right? So same thing we are using this MATLAB commands, sorry, your Python commands, figure plt.figure figures 8 by 5. So y predicted model, linear predicted model, okay. So the scatter, just data is putting here, scattering that. The title y test versus y predict. You can see the y test here, x axis, and y axis is the y predicted, right? Is there versus front line. It is the title, it is here this one, and x label is y test and y label is y predicted, it is there, okay. Then plt dot plot predictions y test, okay, color is equal to green, that you can set, you can do it here. This is I am not running it there. So using all the things you are able to finally predict all the things, and you can able to create a model for this multiple linear regressions. I hope some minimum knowledge you have gone to you. You can go through this video, and the coding I will share with you also, that you practice in your, just what you need to do, install this Python, then you go for all the libraries what I told you that you can install, the commands are given to you, and you can practice the entire coding, and you will be seeing all this prediction model it will be developed, I think, in a matter less than 1 hour. So thank you for watching this video. So if you have any comments and anything, you please share with your SMS or by email. And if you really like this video, please do share with your friends and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.